Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another HR series video. We will be focusing on training and development today. But before we dive in, I do want to make a disclaimer that not every company will have a training and development department. Sometimes those responsibilities will fall within the HR manager's department or recruiting, depending on the structure of a company. Just like its name, the Training and Development Department basically oversees the training of all new and current staff members. They make sure that new and current staff members have all the certifications that they need to do their job correctly and legally. Like for example, in the healthcare industry, a lot of nursing staff are required to have not only their nursing license, but also CPR. And I think CPR is only good for 2 years, if I remember correctly. And the Training and Development Department make sure that before the CPR license expires, that they notify the nursing staff that they need to renew it or retake the course depending on the requirements. Oftentimes when a company does have a training and development department, that department is in charge of new employee orientation. Now this is not always the case, but typically the training and development department will be the ones administering and teaching new hire orientation. So for my personal experience, the training and development departments that I've worked with have not really been that large. I've normally seen the same types of roles over and over. Maybe the title of the role will be a little bit different, but typically you would see a training and development manager or director, and then under the manager or director role, you would typically see a training and development specialist or a training coordinator. So for the training and development manager, they basically oversee the training coordinators or the training specialists. So they are the ones who make sure that the training specialists are doing their job correctly. The manager and the directors are also the ones that develop and implement the training programs that the coordinators or the specialists will eventually teach. The whole goal is for every employee that does the same role to be on the same page and to increase productivity within a company. The training managers also ensure that every employee in a company is aware of any training events that may be coming up, and they also make sure that they are aware of any training resources that they can take advantage of if needed. And they do this by sending out emails, newsletters, sometimes you'll see flyers all around a company's bulletin walls. Managers also evaluate the results of training sessions to make sure that they are as effective as possible, and if they're not, they'll make any necessary changes to the training program. The training managers also work very closely with the rest of the HR department to create budgets for the training department. They may also work alongside HR managers and recruiters to train them in letting new employees know what to expect on the first day of work and what to expect for training throughout their years at the company. Now moving on to the training specialist role. So the training specialist role is pretty simple in the fact that they are the ones actually teaching the training courses. So they are typically the ones who are handling new hire orientation. So they're the ones speaking through the whole length of new hire orientation. Every company is different, but normally new hire orientation will last all day, and they're the ones talking 95% of the time. Not only are they teaching the training courses, but they are also making sure that the employee understands what they're teaching. You can teach all you want, but if your students or your staff really don't understand what you're saying, then it's pointless and it's a waste of time for both parties. So it's very important that the training specialist ensures that everyone who takes the training course walks away understanding everything that they learned that day and are able to implement what they learned to their job role. By the same token, if they notice that a certain individual is struggling during the training, or they have any concerns regarding an individual, or they want to give positive feedback, they typically do to that employee's manager. So they just communicate any concerns or any positive feedback they may have to that person's manager. They also update and track every employee's training progress and certifications. Since they track this information, they may also send reminders to hiring managers and to the employee themselves, reminding them that a certain certification is expiring soon and that they need to present a updated certification or retake a class with them. And they may also also complete any other tasks that the training manager sees fit. Every company does things a little bit different. So typically the training director will be the ones to really outline the responsibilities of a training specialist. So I looked at real job postings on Indeed for both the manager and the specialist role because I really wanted to know what companies are asking for right now for these roles. And from what I saw, the bare minimum is a bachelor's degree for both roles, preferably a bachelor's degree in either human resources or business. Although both roles require a bachelor's degree, from what I saw for the manager role, a lot of companies were asking for a minimum of 7 years of experience before they would even consider your resume, versus the specialist role only required about 2 years of experience on average from what I saw. So according to salary.com, the average salary for a manager in the US is $78,927. Again, this will depend on location, on your years of experience, on the industry, on the company size. So many factors will determine exactly what your salary will be for the manager role and for the specialist role. And then the average salary for a training specialist is actually not that much different from the manager role. It's about $61,454 a year. So there is a gap there, but for some reason I was expecting for it to be a wider gap, and I'm sure it is for certain industries, but on average that is typically what a training specialist makes. Some of the pros for working in a training and development department are, it's a perfect job if you really enjoy teaching and helping others. If you are someone who is not patient and does not like explaining things over and over and over again, then don't consider the training and development departments, because there will be times when you will have to explain the same thing 10 different times to maybe 5 different individuals. So you definitely have to be a patient person. You can't lose your cool just because someone is not really understanding what you're teaching. You have to be creative and think on your feet to change things up if you notice that your employees are struggling to grasp what you're saying. So only join this department if you are okay with repeating yourself multiple times and actually enjoy teaching and training other people. Another great aspect of this role is that it is not competitive. Other roles like recruiting, especially if you are a commission-based recruiter, it can get very competitive in those types of environments. But if you work in a training and development department, there really isn't much competition. You're basically just focusing on training and increasing productivity levels within a company, so you're not really competing with anyone else. You're literally just working as a team. And another pro is that it is a pretty good salary with a lot of room for growth. You guys saw that the average salary was about $61,000. Obviously that may not be your starting rate, but that is a good amount of money for a role within HR. And again, there's a lot of room for growth, so as you gain experience, your salary will definitely increase. So a con is that it can definitely get boring, especially if you're teaching the same material week after week after week. That's why you have to get creative and try to switch things around a little bit if you can, just because the work can get a bit tedious. And another con is that depending on the company that you work for and on the industry, you may have to travel to implement training programs. So for example, let's say you're working for a huge hospital that's located in downtown Boston, but they also have little clinics and maybe like 30 minutes away from the city or 40 minutes away from the city. You may have to travel to those clinics to implement training programs. This is not always the case, but it's something to be aware of, and definitely ask these types of questions during your interview so you are aware if you have to do any traveling when you are in the training and development department. And the next con is, like I mentioned earlier, companies are typically looking for you to bring some years of experience to the table when you are applying to a training and development department. So it can be a little difficult to get into. That's why I said try to start as a recruiter or any other HR role prior to applying to the training and development department. That's not to say that if you come across a training and development job role to not apply, because you won't lose anything. The worst thing that they can do is not give you a call. But that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this HR series video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you a part of my channel. And also let me know in the comments below if you have any questions for me. I'll do my best to respond to each and every one of you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.